Hey YouTube, this is VidHead85 and I'm going to talk a little bit about DOMA, the so-called Defense of Marriage Act. Simply, in 2003, the Supreme Judicial Court of Massachusetts said that not allowing gay and lesbian couples to legally marry would in fact be violative of their state constitution. And in 1996, prior, another challenge was being brought to the marriage law, where they said that it did not exactly bar same-sex couples from marrying, but it did not allow them either. So the court in Bayer versus Me case said that the government has to have a compelling interest, and the federal government and the House and the House and Senate said that if they don't want to recognize gay and lesbians getting married, because that would make it seem as if they endorse such marriages, which they recognize interracial marriages, but I'm pretty sure there are some Democrats and Republicans and independents who probably think that interracial marriage is wrong, period. So anyway, they rushed and passed this law, which if they would have passed a constitutional amendment, then I believe it would have passed easily, because most of them had already decided to put bars in their state legislatures in the years following. So, and then we had the 2003 and then the 2004 election, and then 11 states put bans in their state constitutions. And now DOMA is not only being challenged, but it's just being eviscerated with all these challenges to it. Dragovich versus U.S. Treasury, Galinsky versus OPM, Gill versus OPM, Peterson versus OPM, and there's also Edie Windsor versus the United States, which I really hope gets to the Supreme Court first, because if anything, that talks about the tax burden that they have. And I believe the Dragovich versus U.S. Treasury case was a bankruptcy case where 20 out of 24 of the circuit's judges signed the opinion stating that DOMA is unconstitutional because it treats one group of individuals different from another for the purposes of federal law, when in fact there is no compelling government interest to do so. So anyway, so with DOMA's being just shot through. It's like a Tommy gun, and there's DOMA, boom, 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 boom. It is just being shot through, and there is nothing that anybody can really do about it now, because of the simple fact that as it's being found unconstitutional in so many states, when DOMA's overturned, I believe that will throw automatically into doubt so many state constitutional bars to gay and lesbian couples being married in states like Missouri and Arkansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Texas, which was adopted in 2005, an off-year one, but it won nonetheless. New Mexico with Proposition 107, or actually 102. They rejected 107 but adopted 102. Confusing sometimes, yes. Nevada, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, which doesn't exist. Well, Illinois has a statute, and that's being challenged right now, and the clerks will not, the Attorney General will not defend it. Hawaii is also having their constitutional amendment challenged as well, and Governor Abercrombie will not defend that law either. Going back to Hawaii in the Bayer versus Me case, in 1998, voters passed a mini DOMA there to their constitution, and what ended up happening was it kind of killed that case for that time. And then civil unions were instituted in 2010, and they were to take place, I believe, maybe in July of 2010, or maybe, no, New Year's. It was New Year's 2011, and there was a family values group that decided to bring a challenge to it and wanted the judge to enjoin enforcement of the civil unions legislation, but they said no, so that was a great thing. But anyway, DOMA, the Defense of Marriage Act, Section 1 is the title. Section 2 is saying that states don't have to recognize a marriage of gay and lesbian couples, and then 3, that marriage for federal purposes is between a man and a woman. Now, many people who believe DOMA protects marriage don't know that DOMA does nothing to protect marriage. It simply just says that for the federal purposes, marriage is between a man and a woman, and marriage has always been the province of the states. And because of that, the federal government deferred to the states to say who was married. And now that many states have passed constitutional bars to gay and lesbian couples being able to marry, now with Proposition 8 case making its way through the courts and probably making its way to the Supreme Court should they hear it, we will hear something back from the Supreme Court whether they grant certiorari, which is simply saying we'll hear it. So anyway, DOMA's would definitely be, there would be a strike against DOMA if they rule Proposition 8 unconstitutional. But they would probably limit it to California. I think that certain other states would have to make it through the court where they never allowed a gay and lesbian couple to marry in order to invalidate all state constitutional bars to legal marriage between gay and lesbian couples. And Ohio had a campaign to repeal theirs, but I don't know what's been going on with that either. I think it may not have been successful. I haven't heard much about it. So anyway, let me know some of your thoughts on DOMA. I do not believe it to be constitutional because equal protection under the law states that it cannot single out a group of individuals for discrimination, and it goes into the Romer versus Evans case where they cannot make a group of citizens a stranger to their laws, and that includes marriage law. So thank you, YouTube. You have a great day. DOMA is going down. Nails are just being constantly pushed into the coffin, and that's a great thing. Have a great day, YouTube, and see you later.